rock on. Hey, what's up, you guys? Film Fan 0599 here again, and today we're going to review The Devil's Candy. So, The Devil's Candy stars Ethan Embry, and what this film is basically about. It's about this family that, they move into a new house, and the father starts hearing some weird, strange noises, and these strange noises make him, do some things with the painting, because he is a painter, and his paintings start becoming more violent and more dark than they were before, and it's taken away from him, from his family and everything, and there's a mass serial killer basically on the loose as well. So, what did I think of The Devil's Candy? Now, I didn't really even know about this movie. I had no clue what this movie was until I saw some reviews from it. I saw Chris Stuckman review it. I saw Drum Dums review it. Impression Blend reviewed it. So I saw a couple of people reviewed this movie and said it was pretty great. So I was like, you know what? I'll check it out. I'll see, what kind of the buzz is about with this movie. And I'm actually glad I did, because this is a really great psychological horror film. I very much enjoyed The Devil's Candy. It is a fantastic movie. I loved it. It was so great. So let's get into my positives. And my positives are, first being, I thought the acting was actually pretty great in this movie. Ethan Embry was great. I absolutely loved him in this movie. He was just so fantastic. He did a really great job in the movie. I enjoyed him. I thought he was great, Just definitely gave a really great performance. Definitely one of my favorites of the year so far in terms of performances. He was so fantastic in this movie. I thought he did a really great job. The woman that plays the mother, the wife and everything, she was great as well. I enjoyed her. The girl that plays the daughter was great as well. She was really good as well. I enjoyed her in the film. So yeah, and the guy that plays, I guess you could say the villain, really, he was good too. I thought he was very intimidating and very scary, and every time you saw this guy, you were just intimidated, because you were just wondering what's going to happen next with this guy. He was very intimidating. He actually did a very great job in my eyes. He was very great, very intimidating, definitely one of the better horror villains I've seen in a while. So yeah, he was definitely great. So yeah, the acting is really good all across the board. I thought everyone did a very good job in this film. The thrills, and this movie really kept me on the edge of my seat, really. I will say that. It's a very psychological horror film. It doesn't really deal with, demons or whatever, straight up, demons or ghosts. It's more or less a psychological thriller up until, the last, I want to say, 20 to 15 minutes of the movie, and that's when it becomes a full-blown horror film. But I will say, for the most part, this is a psychological horror thriller, and it actually was really good. It was really enticing, really, because, this reminded me a lot of The Shining, actually, in terms of the way it was presented. A guy that's, who works, and once he starts hearing things, he gets really invested in his work, stepping away from his family and his responsibilities. So it did remind me a lot of The Shining in that, and it was actually great. It was really well put on screen. I actually really enjoyed it. I thought the movie was very intense and very suspenseful, and it kept me on the edge of my seat for the entirety of the runtime. And another thing I love about this movie is that I actually care about the family. In most horror films, you always got someone that's annoying, or just, the acting is really bad with the people or whatever. Usually sometimes with movies like these. But no, actually I cared really a lot about the family. I was actually worried about them throughout the entire film, you know what I mean? And they were great. They're just the nicest group of people, honestly. They are the nicest group of people. And they're just great, and, I really cared for them. And I was I got worried for, a lot during this movie for this family, because I did really care about them. And, they were great, and I love the movie for that, for really making me care about these characters. and really caring about this family. So yeah, I thought the movie did a really great job with that. Also, I did notice this, like, kind of the symbolization with the film. Like, it does deal with, like, kind of like Christ and, Satan, whatever. Like, the main villain of the movie wears, like, a red tracksuit, and Ethan Embry kind of has, like, a Jesus look going for him. So I honestly kind of like that symbolization that they had in the movie. Like, Jesus versus the devil. It actually kind of was really worked. I actually thought that was pretty cool. I noticed that. I was like, that's actually pretty cool. I like that. So, yeah. The soundtrack with this movie is awesome as well. Like, I love the soundtrack with this film. It's a very metal soundtrack. And, I like metal, but I wouldn't say I necessarily am like a lover of it. I'm more of a grunge and punk guy. I mean, tell about the shirt. But yeah, I do enjoy me some metal music, and it actually is very well placed into this movie. It really works, and I thought it was great. Like, I love how the metal music was really worked into this movie, and I thought the soundtrack was actually really cool. Definitely one of the best soundtracks of the year. I absolutely love the soundtrack with the film. The writing was great. I thought the writing was fantastic with the movie. Some fantastic writing. I love the writing with the movie. It's so fantastic. The dialogue was just great between all the characters. The directing was fantastic with this movie. Definitely one of the best directed films of the year. It was just so well directed, so well shot, very well edited. The cinematography was absolutely gorgeous with this movie. I absolutely love the cinematography with this film. So yeah, the directing was just fantastic. I absolutely love how this movie was directed. It was so well edited. The editing was fantastic with this movie. So yeah, the directing was absolutely incredible with the film. And the movie's really short. Like, it's really short. It's only an hour and 19 minutes. And honestly, that was the perfect running time for this movie. Like if it went on just a little bit longer, to me, I would have felt like it was dragging. Honestly, I thought this was the perfect running time for the movie. Like, it got to the point real quick with the movie, and I actually quite like that. And not in a rushing manner, however. Like, it never rushes, it never slows down. It honestly moves at a pretty nice natural pace for a movie that's only an hour and 19 minutes. So, yeah, they did a really great job with that, and I was very invested in the movie for the whole thing, honestly. I was just so invested into this film. Now, the only one negative I do have with this movie is that towards the end, they have to use, like, fire. That's all I'm going to say. I really don't want to spoil it, of course. But I will say this. They have to use fire, and it looks really terrible. It really does. Like, the fire in that scene just looks really bad. I get it. They didn't have that much of a budget to work with. Sorry. But, it was very low budgeted, this movie, so I can understand that, but it took away from what was it took away a little bit from what was supposed to be such a serious scene, and it was just so obvious looking that it was CGI and whatever. It just looked really bad, so yeah. But besides that, The Devil's Candy is honestly not only one of the best horror films of the year, but one of the best films of the year in general. Like, this movie was awesome. I loved it. It's such a great psychological horror film, and I so enjoyed it. So it's time for my official grade on The Devil's Candy, and my official grade on The Devil's Candy is an A. Such a fantastic movie. If you're a fan of horror films, you should definitely check this movie out. And even if you're not, just give it a watch, really. It's so great. I absolutely loved it. It's such a fantastic horror film. Definitely one of the best of the year. Absolutely loved it. Definitely deserves an A. So, what did you guys think of The Devil's Candy? Leave in the comment section below. And I'm FilmFan0599, and we will see you all later. Peace.